Welcome to Reach Around, the podcast where I'll reach for you if you reach around me. Oh, 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 crap. It was a 1 and 2 shot. Wrong podcast. Wrong podcast, Alex.
Although, oddly enough, I'm also the co-host on that podcast. So if you guys like this dynamic, hop on.
That's hilarious. It's pretty jacked up. Oh, Alex, I played some Tetris Effect this week, and dude, I see the light. I see it. I played it. I get it.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy for you, man. What does it feel like?
It feels like I laid on the ground and I opened my mouth, and then Tetsuya pulled down his pants and dropped a huge dookie in my mouth because it still sucks. I played it. I hate that game. It is pitiful. It is horrible. I don't like it. It's a Tetris aspect of it I hate. And for me personally, it's a freaking trashy, it's a game. But here's the thing, Alex. I still have big news on the Tetris Effect front. I've played enough of it that I see the light at the end of the tunnel. In my mind, if I play it another maybe couple hours, I feel like I've got my money's worth and I can delete it off my PS4. That's what's going on. That's what my goal is. That's my ultimate goal. And it's coming, baby. I didn't think I would get here, but it's coming. I see it. It's going to be gone. I'm going to have all those bites left over, and then I'm going to replace that with probably some more crappy games. But you know what? Yeah, Tetris Effect won't be on it, and I'll never have to play it again.
So what is the hours that you first of all, I just want to say this isn't the Reach Around podcast. This is PlayPSVR The Podcast. Thank you for joining us again this week as Adam continues to trash talk Tetris Effect for no real reason. But Adam, what is the hour mark you're looking at that you think is you've gotten your $40 worth? Because this is kind of a benchmark for other games that you think aren't good.
I mean, I don't know. So for Tetris Effect, because I'm taking the fact that I don't actually enjoy playing it. So it will reduce the amount of hours regardless, because if you don't enjoy playing it, you're willing to take a little bit more of a hit than, say, a game that you actually enjoy. So I'm thinking, I don't know, 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours probably, and I would be like, okay, I got $40 worth, and I do have the music. Even at work, sometimes I just listen to the music. And the visuals are still cool. I think my favorite thing about it is the theater mode. And then the game itself, the only thing more despicable I've done recently is play 18 floors. So, I mean, you know, like I said, I'm almost there. I'm close. I'm going to delete it and then move on with my life. And it's going to be a good day.
Well, it's funny that you brought that up. I played some more Tetris Effect the other night as I was just like chilling out, winding down a bit before I went to bed, and I started to feel like, hey, I think it's happening. I think I'm getting there. This feeling that everybody else is getting. It's not as transcendent as Area X, like I've said, but I don't know. I keep finding myself playing it. I think it's because my dynamic theme is the Tetris Effect theme, so I hear that song forever, or I'm yours, or whatever it is, and it just makes you want to play it just a little bit, and then I get stuck in a loop where I'm trying to like get some kind of points for something. I don't know. I'm liking the game more and more, but that's beside the point, Adam. Adam, let's kick this podcast off. I want to talk to you about some gamer juice, man. What are you drinking tonight?
So this is actually kind of a makeshift segment. Typically we record on Fridays or Saturdays, but today is Thursday because we have some things during the weekend that we're not sure if we're going to be able to be together, as you may hear in the next two segments of the podcast. So because of that, I didn't really get a chance to go out and get any exciting gamer juice. So I stuck with the original gamer juice from back in the days, good old water. But it's not just water, because I don't know if you can tell, I have a cup that is a cat in space with pizza. And so that's cool. Like my cat pizza space cup. Just sucking on some water, and I mean, I know it's pretty unexciting. I apologize. We can't have squirt every week.
Does it enhance the flavor, the cup?
No, but every time I look at it, it makes me happy.
And that's all you can ask sometimes for a beverage. My beverage this week Don't be confused. It looks like just normal water. What I've actually been doing, it's this new thing, 2019, it's all about health. We're trying to make ourselves healthier. I feel like, throughout my day, I'm losing a lot of nutrients just through natural reasons, like you sweat and you lose some nutrients. I want to regain that. And so what I've been doing is I have been collecting my saliva in this bottle. And then when I get thirsty, I re-drink my saliva. So this is actually a collection of my saliva throughout the day. It was about up to here, and now I'm down to here. So it's really, you would think that, your saliva wouldn't be refreshing because your body's getting rid of it. But no, it's actually really nourishing, and it's hydrating in a weird sense. So, just down the hatch, right?
You really tried it. You really went for it. Tried to sell it, didn't you?
It's really fizzy, but it's good. We'll see how it goes. See if I change my mind after a couple of weeks. But right now, I'm feeling healthy. I'm feeling good, Adam.
Okay. On a separate note, since you aren't drinking your saliva, what I will say, which I've recently done very quickly because this isn't PSVR related, I took cucumbers, peppers, and celery and cut them all up, put them in a baggie, and mushed them around. And you would think, like, ew, it's too much green and it's vegetables and it sucks. Dude. It's so fun to eat. It's like crunchy and it's healthy and it's like negative calories and it's just, you look cool with it because everyone's like, dang, that's a lot of green in that bag, yo. You should try it. Seriously. It's real fun. You can't get in trouble with it. And you can eat as much as you want.
I would rather drink my own saliva, Adam. Thank you.
All right. Well, then forget you. But I do need you to tell us, Alex, what the Power A Play of the Week for PlayPSVR is on this week of January 17th, whatever this week is.
Power play. So those who were paying attention on Twitter saw that we put out the Golden Stream of the week. This week's Golden Stream, PlayPSVR Golden Stream, was me playing Borderlands 2. I mentioned in a previous podcast that I had played some of Borderlands 2, but I didn't want to talk too much about it because I didn't have proper perspective. I've had more time. I've played a decent amount, and I've played a decent amount of Borderlands 2 on the flat version, the Handsome Collection that came out. So I know what's going on with Borderlands, and I can kind of know where I stand, even though I haven't beaten it in VR. First thing I'll say is it's Borderlands. So if you like Borderlands, that's Borderlands for you. If you don't like Borderlands, then this probably isn't going to change too much. People lamented the fact that there's no multiplayer in this. And I don't really see it as a huge issue. I'm not somebody who likes to go through Borderlands co-op. I mean, I don't have a ton of time. Even if I play with Adam, I'm not going to beat the whole campaign co-op with Adam. I don't like playing these kind of games with strangers because they just like throw really good guns at me and it just kind of ruins the thrill of the hunt. So I went through Borderlands 2 flat single player. I'm going through it in VR single player, and I'm having just as good a time. It's great. On the stream, you saw I tested out both methods of controls. I used the move controls and I used the DualShock, and I have to say, unfortunately, the DualShock is the way to go. So with the move controls, yeah, it's interesting. You get to aim. You got the other hand that can point to stuff, and it's immersive in a sense, but the aiming isn't real aiming because, anybody who's played Borderlands knows that it's like a first-person shooter, but it's got some RPG elements to it. So your aiming isn't doing all of the work for you. There's a little bit of dice rolling behind the scenes on whether or not you hit the enemies. Now, you can hold down buttons and snipe, and that helps things out, but the guns aren't terribly accurate. And, there's not much rapport when you pull the trigger, so the game wasn't designed to be in VR. So you can't expect the gunplay to feel super immersive in VR. Kind of like in Skyrim. Skyrim, aside from the archery, which was fantastically done, the swordplay in Skyrim wasn't terribly immersive. It was fun, but nothing amazing. These games that were made for flat gaming and then are ported over to VR, they still feel like a flat game that you just kind of have like a freer ability to look around in. It's not ideal. If they made a Borderlands VR from the ground up, it would be fantastic and it'd feel great. And this is fantastic and great in its own right. It just doesn't feel like a full-on VR game. Now, the controls for the moves, they're serviceable. You can kind of do what you want to do, but they're really hard to get accustomed to. The button layout doesn't really make a ton of sense. You're not restricted, but when you're trying to pick up something off the ground, it's kind of confusing as to where your hand has to point because the laser pointer effect isn't always there, so you don't know how to really point at an item every time to pick it up. And then sometimes you find yourself in weird situations, like when you need to drive the car in reverse. There's no button to go in reverse. You have to like aim the controller backwards or look backwards. It's not intuitive. It's counterintuitive, and it makes moving through the environment difficult when you can't point at what you want. However, with DualShock, it's seamless. The gameplay is really smooth. You aim with your head. It doesn't sound like that's going to be super fun and super immersive to do, but let me tell you, it is. I had a great time sniping while aiming with my head and holding the sniper rifle with my other hand. The gameplay of Borderlands is kind of quick gameplay. It's not so much relying on accuracy, but it's just relying on you being able to move around smoothly and have quick access to your buttons, so you can throw out your turret, or you can throw out grenades, and you can make those kind of attacks and defenses quickly, rather than worrying about sharp aim like you would in a normal VR game. The art style is really sharp. The graphics are really sharp. And I just love the Borderlands writing. What am I doing? I was supposed to change my background when I talk about this. Bam. I love the Borderlands writing. I'm a huge fan of Tales from the Borderlands. That was a fantastic Telltale adventure game. And I love the writing for Handsome Jack. He's hilarious. He's a douchebag. You hate him, but you love to hate him because he's so funny with what he's saying. Calling people butt stallion. I love it. It's great. It's awesome. I can't wait to get further in this game and just experience Handsome Jack in VR. He's a fantastic villain. He's such a good villain. He's almost like a protagonist of the game. So that's a cool element to the game. Adam, you haven't played Borderlands at all. After watching my stream of it, are you interested in playing this game?
It looks like a game that certainly isn't bad, but on the fun scale, it looks like it may be a 6.
So it's not a shooter like Doom. You can't view it like Doom. It's more of like a game like Diablo almost, or even to a weird extent, it's like an open world game like Skyrim, where the fun is to try to find new weapons. And you get like a new cool weapon that does something cool, like you got a machine gun that shoots rockets out. That's really fun. Or you have this gun that adds bonuses to some of your turret, adds missiles to your turret, just weird things like that. That's really exciting. It's hard to showcase in like 1 hour, but it's definitely better than a 6 out of 10. This is a game that people play for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and rightly so. It just keeps coming at you with funny content, with new interesting approaches to enemies and weapon design and stuff like that. So I would advise you to get it if you're interested in playing a good shooting game. I wouldn't advise you to get it if you're wanting to play necessarily an immersive game or a game that uses the Move controllers very well.
Well, I think I'm probably going to skip. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Like I said, it looks like average fun, which is better than not fun at all. I'll give it that. But I don't know, I just don't feel like it would be. If it were really cheap, I would get it because it's like, play 3 hours and be done with it. But it's never going to be that cheap. So I'm probably going to end up skipping out on that one. So that was our Powerade Play of the Week. So just so you guys know, we're going to start doing YouTube streams every Wednesday at 8:30 Central Time. So we're just going to pick a game, Alex or I, and we're going to play it. The other one's going to get on the chat and harass people. This week, that guy is Will, and I just laid into Alex. And it was fantastic because YouTube's weird, and sometimes you can't see the comments when you're being the streamer. And so he had no idea what we were saying. Man, we lit into you. It was great. So I think probably next week I'll stream a game, so then you could get me back. But it was still a good time, even just watching you lose repeatedly. And then, So if you want to have some fun, we appreciate coming, stop by even for a little bit. We'll talk to you, hang out, play some VR, maybe play with us. Oh, we could get what the game I want to we'll talk about platinums. So my game, so I played Beat Saber. Dude, Beat Saber is so good. Beat Saber is it's a class act. It's a class act for the PSVR. Like I said, I played some Tetris Effect. But this week I did get to play Rick and Morty Virtual Reality. And let me tell you, so this was a game, I'm not going to say I'm a huge, like the biggest Rick and Morty fan, but I like me some Rick and Morty. I think it's a very unique humor. I think it's really funny. I really enjoyed all the seasons that are out now. I wish they would keep putting stuff out. Just the concept and the way the humor, I mean, it's just funny. I really enjoy it. And so when that game came out, I was really excited. I was like, yes. But then I heard it was $30, which I feel like that's a little expensive, even without knowing how short it was. And then I didn't hear good reviews. So I got the game via Wanacott PR, they totally clutch. I just want to create like a background, a poster behind me for any of our streams, and I think it would just be kind of cool to have like a little man cave with posters on the wall and stuff, and only PSVR. They sent me a whole collector's edition, which is pretty sweet. I don't know what a Funko Pop is, but that came in it, and then this poster, and then the game. So I got to play the game, and pretty much what I could say is one thing that I absolutely love about it is that the game is a total embodiment of Rick and Morty. Every little detail directly is related to the game. The things on the shelves, the way the garage is set up, every character you see, all the cameos, all just the minor details are all points toward Rick and Morty, which one thing I was afraid of is that they would be like a watered down version, and it's definitely not. Absolutely love that. Easily my favorite aspect of the game. It really was like I was in an episode of Rick and Morty. It was hilarious. It's so clever. Couple of the times they actually had me laughing out loud by myself because it's funny humor. It's like Job Simulator, but much, much, much funnier, and in Rick and Morty. So absolutely, the thing is, I really enjoyed the game. I really did. It was clear. It's kind of like puzzle solving, very much like Prison Boss or Island Time or
Accounting Plus
Simulator. It's kind of like Accounting Plus. It's very much like Accounting Plus. Yeah, thank you, Alex. In which you're in the room and you have to figure out stuff. The puzzles aren't hard. But again, the whole thing is being in Rick and Morty, and they succeeded that well. The only issue is, dude, it's like 2 hours, maybe a little more if you really take your time. And for $30, I'm like, come on. And it's not like a game where, like, if To the Top were 2 hours, you'd be able, or like Windlands maybe. How long is Windlands? Have you finished it?
That's got a hefty amount to it.
Okay.
You're gonna get a decent amount of time out of that.
Okay, then it's not. But it would be as if like Windlands were only 2 hours. You get done and you're like, oh crap. But Windlands was unique and it was a novel idea. So you're like, oh, okay. It was short, but it showed me something. It opened and broadened my horizons. Where Rick and Morty didn't do that. Like, it was very basic. We had seen it before. There's nothing novel about their idea. So for it to only be 2 hours was a little disappointing. $30 is a joke. Don't pay that. If it's $15, I'd buy it. I think at one point it was $10. If you're a Rick and Morty fan, definitely $10, $15 is a must buy. If you don't really care, or if you didn't think Accounting Plus was funny, I don't think you should get the game. But that's essentially my quick thoughts. It's very plot driven, so I can't really describe much of what goes on because it'll ruin it. But it's virtually Rick and Morty. It's a really fun, clever game, very funny, but really short and way too expensive.
So I really liked Accounting Plus. I thought the comedy was really funny. I'm not a Rick and Morty fan, and I think it was like written by similar people as the writers of Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland or something. He did the voice acting or something to that effect. So if I was somebody who enjoyed Accounting Plus, do you think, regardless of the price, do you think that I would enjoy Rick and Morty, even though I haven't seen the Rick and Morty show?
So you haven't seen any of Rick and Morty?
No, I've seen like the beginning of the first episode or something, and I fell asleep because it was nighttime, and I'm a baby.
The thing is, I think you would, if it were cheap, I think it would be worth it. But there would be a lot of jokes that are really funny that you wouldn't understand. And
okay, so there's jokes that depend on knowledge of the show?
I don't know if they do. It's just funnier if you know about the show.
Gotcha.
Like, there are certain characters that you would look at and you'd be like, okay. But if you knew, like, in the game, you'd look at them and be like, oh, okay. But if you watch the TV show, you would know that character and you would think, like, that's awesome or that's hilarious. There's just so many references to the show that, like I said, at one point, you have to eat laxatives and then poop and to unclog a toilet and stuff. Like, that's funny regardless.
Yeah,
but if you know Morty and how, like, an annoying, anxious little twerp he is, it's even funnier because he's like, oh, Rick. It's funny, but you may not get that because you're either, didn't watch it or not a huge fan of the show. But like if it were $10, I would still maybe be inclined, if you like Accounting Plus, to go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, I think that'd be the sweet spot for me, something under $10. And then, maybe I'll watch the show sometime. And if it, even $20 for 2 hours, like I really like the show Futurama. And they had a game that came out on the PlayStation 2 or Xbox or something. And I had it for a short time and I sold it back for some reason. And now I really wish that I had kept it, because the value of it was the game was so-so. It wasn't great. But then when you beat it, it's like you have an extra episode of Futurama that you're never going to be able to watch again. And so the idea of like, hey, if they're not going to make any more Rick and Morty, well, you have all the Rick and Morty and then one more. You have a little extra. And it would just be nice to experience. I'm okay with short games. You can experience them over and over again, unlike these long epic games you can play once and then you just got to try to remember what it was like. So, yeah, I'm okay with short games. $30 seems like a lot. Maybe if it dropped down to 20, I'd be even more inclined to say, yeah, it might be for Rick and Morty fans of all kinds and ages.
That's right. That is right. So you want to rub my nose in something here, huh?
Yes, I do. Okay, I forgot that's what was next. So, Adam, I just got an email right before we started this podcast informing me of some news, and I have to first have a caveat saying, Adam, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to share this experience with you because of a non-disclosure agreement. I am bound by legalities to not discuss this with you further than just the announcement of what is happening. But, Adam, I just want to let you know that your boy has been invited to the Dreams beta. So while you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, Morty and your Rick, doing whatever you do, pooping in your own mouth, playing Tetris Effect, I'm going to be creating. I'm going to be entering the world that Media Molecule has created for us to create worlds for them. So don't ask me what it's like. I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is that I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be doing things and making things. And you know what? When you can finally join me, when Sony finally sees fit to reach out a hand to you and have you join us in the world of dreams, maybe you'll see me sitting on my throne that I have made, sitting atop of the world of dreams. Everybody with their VR headsets on, bowing down to me as the king of the dreams universe. This is what's going to happen in your absence, Adam. So be prepared to enter this new world when you finally get invited to Dreams, or maybe you have to buy Dreams, and it's going to be the world of Alex, his virtual world, and everyone's going to want to join, and I might invite you one day. So that's my announcement, Adam. You might have also been invited. I don't know how rare these invites are, and I had to check in like a spam or promotional folder on my Gmail to actually see the invite. So you might actually have it sitting in your inbox. So it's worth a look. Go browsing a little bit and see what you got. It was a really inauspicious email, just being like, hey, welcome. And then I clicked it and I was like, oh, look, it's Dreams. So I want to rub it in your face for now. Be jealous, Adam. I'm going to play Dreams and you can play your other piddly games.
Did you have to sign up for it?
I signed up for it because I think you tweeted out that you had to sign up. Like, you tweeted something out talking about signing up for the Dreams beta, like registering for it. Well,
I never signed up for it. I may have tweeted it, but I never signed up for it. So I definitely do not have it.
All right, well, there you go. But it did say in the email that I can't talk to anybody about it. I can't stream it, can't take screenshots or anything. Basically, I don't even know if this is allowed for me to say that I'm in it, but I'm in it.
You're in it? Yeah, well, that sucks. Because,
for you.
I mean, it would be in our play. I'm checking it. It would be on our. It would definitely be in our PlayPSVR account. Like, I wouldn't use my personal one.
Why didn't you just? It's like one of the biggest PSVR games, and you get to play it for free. Why wouldn't you just whatever?
I don't know, man. Why did you sign up and didn't tell me?
I thought you did. You tweeted it out. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked. So just marinate on that. Think about that. Adam's over there getting flustered. Speaking of getting flustered, I have something that's going to fluster Adam. It's already flustered him just thinking about it. We've been discussing this. We want to add a little extra wrinkle to our 2019. Both Adam and I had the resolution in 2019 to play, finish some of these older games, go back into our backlog and finish some games, finish more games, really complete games. And so we have come up with the Play PSVR Platinum Challenge 2019. Adam, have you decided? You've been kind of flip-flopping. Are you on board with this?
Dude, here's my issue here, man. So at first I was all on board. I was like, let's go. And then I was like, I sat down and I looked at some of the games. And for example, Rick and Morty, I was like, okay, that's going to be an easy one that I can add a little bit of time and probably platinum it. And then I realized that every game has something that is just an absolute bear or a time-consuming waste of time to platinum it. Even Rick and Morty. There are two things in Rick and Morty that would take me hours to complete to platinum it. And so I was like, is it worth it? Because instead of now getting to play Beat Saber to the top more, I'm going to have to go in there and play Rick and Morty over and over and over and over for an additional 3 hours, which is longer than the game itself, to beat and get a certain score on a couple mini games to platinum it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But, I mean, I suppose you would also have to do that.
Yeah, so Adam, that's why it's called the Play PSVR Platinum Challenge 2019 and not the Play PSVR Platinum. Just kind of do what you want and hang out and, we'll just all have a good time. 2019.
You suck. You're going to get those stupid games like Mind Labyrinth where if you just complete it, you get a platinum.
So here's the caveat. It's the challenge of 2019, Adam. So it's only games that we have started in 2019. So I can't count Mind Labyrinth. I had that platinum. I worked so freaking hard for that platinum. And you're taking it away from me. You're snatching it right out of my clutches. I've made great progress on a lot of games, and you are taking that away from me. I can't platinum Ultra Wings, but you haven't played Ultra Wings, and you can platinum. It's not fair. I could have platinum Drone Striker, but I didn't, and now I can't. It's not fair. You got a whole plethora of games that you can just fart your way through in a couple hours, and you just have unlimited time, dude. Okay, so here's the deal. We're going to be playing these games coming out in 2019, or a game that you haven't touched. I want to see no touching of the game in 2019 if it's going to be an older game that you're trying to get a platinum in. And because you're so on the fence about it, yeah, it's going to suck to get a platinum in almost all of the games. That's why we need to have a punishment for the loser. That's going to be the carrot dangling in front of our faces. Have you ever watched Skinny versus Spinny, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's so great about it. It's not that these guys want to do these tasks. It's that they don't want to get punished. And I want to punish you when you have not gotten the number of platinums that I have by year's end. So I got a couple punishments floating around in my head, but I'm not super creative. So listeners, viewers, whoever is hearing this, I want you to contact us and let us know your idea for a punishment for the Play PSVR Platinum Challenge 2019. Whoever has the least platinum trophies earned in 2019 is going to have to endure this punishment. The glory is the prize for the winner, and it's going to be horrible, horrible, painful punishment for the loser. So if you have an idea, you want to see Adam do something embarrassing, say something embarrassing, experience something embarrassing, maybe play more of his stupid 100-foot robot golf, send us your idea so Adam can do it when he loses the Platinum Challenge of 2019.
Don't talk crap about robot golf. Here's the thing. If you really want to punish me, make me reinstall Tetris Effect or make me get every trophy on 18 floors. That would be complete and utter death. I would get rid of my PSVR. I would feel like it's over.
Dude, you're getting off too easy, man. I'm thinking like recipes for the gamer juice that you got to drink on air, something like that, man. Just it's going to be something bad. I need you to feel punished. I need to have something that when you're sitting there wanting to put down a game, about to get a platinum, but you're like, this just sucks too much. I don't even care if I lose. You got to think about like, oh, I'm going to have to drink like a glass full of bull semen. I don't want to do that. I better get this platinum. That's how I need this to work. I need you to be terrified of the outcome come December 2019 when you've only got 2 platinums and I have 23.
Well, the thing is, I have you beat already. Now, I know it doesn't count, but I have 3 and you only have 1.
I'm telling you, the punishment wasn't there. There was no carrot.
And that was Mind Labyrinth, which doesn't count.
There was no carrot, my friend, and now I have a carrot, and the carrot is making you cry.
Well, I might cry because you got dreams and I didn't. There you go.
See, there you go. I'm going to be busy building a world of my dreams, and you're just going to be getting mindless platinums, and then maybe I'll lose that way. But really, who was the winner in the end? Probably me, because I get to play dreams. Adam, do you have anything else to say, or can we just take it out with this segment?
I looked. I don't see the Dreams beta anywhere in any of my emails.
Yeah, it's because you're a sucker and I'm a winner. So I might not be here for the next segment. I got to go on a trip and I got a long drive ahead of me. So Adam might be finishing out these segments. So Adam, it was wonderful being a guest on the podcast. I really enjoyed my time here. I would love to come on again sometime if you'd have me. I really love the show. Big fan of the show. I've listened to all of them. It feels like I've been a part of you guys for so long now. So, enjoy the rest of your day and, just let me know when you want to have me back on. All right.
It's not here. It's just not here. I looked at every folder. It's not here. Well, all right. Well, we'll have you on real soon, Alex. You weren't too bad of a guest.
Thanks, Adam.
All right. Stick with us. I will talk to you guys on the other side of the break, and we'll get some real fun. The party will be popping real big up here. Now that Alex is gone, I'm going to dog you all night and day, sir.
Reach around, baby.
All right, so we are back with segment 2 of PlayPSVR The Podcast. And now that Alex is gone, I can reveal my true potential. I am untethered like a kite in the wind. And no, that is not a Stunt Kite Master reference. F that game. Regardless, I was thinking who better to help me achieve this quest and really release my potential than Dukane the Wizard from the VR sofa. Sir, welcome. It is great for you to join us.
Hello, it's a joy to be here. A wizard's welcome.
I love it, dude. I was so this was I owe you a big one. So we didn't realize that Alex was going to be gone, and so this was a very short turnaround, probably like a 12-hour turnaround between I asked someone to join, you offered, and then we made it happen. So I'm glad that you were free somewhat this weekend and willing to join me.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I'm literally just looking at the clock on my left, and it is 5:30 now, if I'm spoiling it in the UK. And I think it was 5 a.m. this morning that we had a quick conversation because I was still awake. So literally 12 hours ago, yeah, it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, you need to sleep more, dude.
Sleep isn't important.
That's nuts. Okay, so how about right off the bat, how about you give us a rundown of your channel, what you do? I was always intrigued why it's called VR Sofa. It sounds like a TV talk show, which actually that sounds like that would be awesome to have like a VR TV talk show. But yeah, how about you tell us about yourself, your channel, things of that nature. Give us a little preview.
Well, basically, I run the VR Sofa. I do all the editing and I put the sound effects and things together. So I do basically anything in virtual reality I can get my hands on, though that's generally on the PlayStation because of the availability of the gaming software and everything. There are 3 of us. So there's me, there's Ziggy, and there is Mike, and we just come together as often as possible. Oh no, there's Dr. Morbius as well, but he comes over the internet for like rec rooms, so technically there's 4 of us. We do lots of editing, and the idea is to get people into VR by showing them how it actually feels and the experience of being in virtual reality. So my best example, I think, is when we do Skyrim. I add sort of effects and things so that if I'm in a cave, it sounds like I'm actually in a cave and there's an echo, and then if I walk around the corner, I'll be able to whisper to the people and do chats in my head with the people watching and have chats with the audience, so that people don't just watch the reviews that they see on IGN and go, oh, it's so awful to play, there's just no way around these controls, it must be terrible. Whereas I play it for 5 episodes. I think I'm on the 60th episode, 67th episode of Skyrim. I've tried every control method I can think of. I've tried walking backwards. I've got the hang of every type of command it has available so that people watching can sort of get the hang of what they would want to get out of VR. So it's not just a blank experience that seems so impenetrable that there's nowhere to start. So I like to give people basically just a good view of what VR really is when you're in it rather than what it looks like from the outside, because it doesn't look so cool from the outside.
Yeah. Man, dude, that is a whole lot of Skyrim. 60 episodes. Holy crap, is that a lot of Skyrim?
Dukane the Wizard must have his wizardry from somewhere.
I guess that's a good point. That is a good point. I started recently my second playthrough of Skyrim. The first time I played it for only God knows how many hours, and then I think maybe a couple weeks ago, it was a little bit of a dry spell where we really didn't get any new games, and so I was like, so I'm in the very beginning stages. I messed up right off the bat. What's that chick's name? Delphine?
Oh, yeah, Delphine.
I accidentally hit her with my weapon, and so now she's coming after me, but you can't kill her. And every time I see her, now she's ticked. And
I think it's broken now. You've ruined it, haven't you? That's one of those things where that's it. You've got to just restart. That's one of the joys of my playthrough, as it were, is because I haven't restarted once. I turned the game on the day it came out, and it's taken me until now, in the year of our Lord 2019, to actually get to episode 68 or 69. And I think I'm only level, oh God, I don't want to exaggerate and make myself sound like an idiot. I think I'm level 20-something, 24, 23, because I play it, when you're there and you are walking around corners really slowly and you're searching under tables, and I'm just playing it as if I'm actually in the world. I don't use fast travel at all. I don't, if I walk, I have to walk and use a horse and do it all legitimately. I have to sleep in a bed. I can't just go, I'm just going to rest in the middle of this field. No, you've got to walk. You find a place to stay, you nutter. So I have to do all of that, and that makes me feel like I'm really there. So I can't imagine it any other way.
Yeah, dude. So am I really screwed? Do I have to reset the game? Because I don't know. Because I hit her?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way around it, because she wouldn't. I don't think, because if you kill her, she'll just get back up, won't she? She'll just fall.
Yeah, you can't. I've tried killing her like 8 times. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there are a few people like that break the game because they're NPCs that cannot die, and yet once you've angered them, they stay angry forever.
Dude, and it all happened because I didn't realize that I was crouched down, and so I was trying to mess with the controls, and with my move controller, I just kind of swiped, trying to figure stuff out, hit her right in the crotch, and then it was game on ever since then. And so
I totally expected that game to allow you to duck and for it to actually just register a duck. The fact that they have realistic swimming, where you just literally swim as if you are sort of pulling on a rope to go underwater. I use that all the time, but they don't have like realistic ducking yet. I'm waiting for them to have an update for a few things like that. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool. All right. So I this week had a friend that came over. He had never played VR before. And I talked to Alex about this before, and he pretty much, when I look for a game for a first timer to begin, I want one that's not going to make them motion sick, 2 that's still really fun, and 3, one that I think uses VR in an exceptional way that's unlike any other gaming experience that maybe they've had. So my go-to is Super Hot, and
that's a good choice.
It is. He absolutely loved it. It blew his mind. It took him a little while to really realize, I'm moving, I'm in it. It's not a 2D game. It took him a little while to get that.
I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is the leaning around inside your 1 meter by 1 meter square. That when you're walking, you're not actually moving your character, you're moving your area. So you can walk up to a table and then you can walk in the real world that extra 2 feet and climb under it, which you can't do in the game normally. That is VR in itself. Why it's so popular and why it should be something everyone should be doing. It's that element of realism that I really love.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. And so he enjoyed it. And unfortunately, he had to leave before we got to play another game. But he played a good little while of that. So what is your go-to game if someone's a first-time PSVR player and they come over and they want to check it out?
I have 2, really. Well, technically, I would have argued that before Richie's Plank experience came to PSVR, which really has to be said is a very good way to just go, stand on this plank, look how tall and how high up you are, and then you can just get them to fly around the world and put a jet on each arm. Have you had a go at that yet?
Dude, no, I have not. Well, first of all, I don't have a plank. I guess that's one issue. And 2, I have not tried it.
Oh, okay.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. I quite like that because it's one of those weird indie games where I think they were trying to be clever by going, oh, it's a game where you fly around with a jetpack on each hand, putting out fires. So what should we call it? Richie's Plank experience, of course, because there's a 2-minute segment at the beginning where you can stand on a plank. But the rest
so
of that,
that's not the whole game?
no, it's not. So I have people stand on a plank because it's quite fun, and then you go, right, instead of walking off the plank, here's a jetpack on each hand, fly around this small city and put out fires. There's no objectives. It's just something they can piss around in without anyone having a go in their ear. There's no health. It is just the most arcadey thing. But it is a lot of fun. And other than that, I'd have to say Job Simulator, because that's just such a nicely finished experience, and everybody feels like they're doing their own thing, again, because it's kind of an unguided VR thing. You don't have to do anything in a specific order. It just says, make dinner, and you go, I'm going to serve them a broken plate and a burnt cigarette, and I shall microwave that, and that will be good. That's all you need, so you can be as hands-off or as hands-on as you want to be, so it doesn't seem like a really... Again, I think lots of VR seems really opaque. Like, you couldn't play it unless you really knew what you were doing. Simple experiences that are really open-ended are the best things to get people into it, I think.
Yeah. So I'm still confused. So I thought, so in the beginning on Richie's plank experience, I was told you should actually have some type of plank that you stand on. But then once you fly off and with the jetpacks, do you just walk off the plank? Like, there's no reason for the plank then, right?
Well, basically, there's an elevator, and it starts you on the ground floor and says, well, it's actually, it hasn't been made, they haven't adjusted it very well for PSVR, I don't think, or at least just the opening. You stand in front of a lift facing away from the lift, and your move controller says triangle to walk forwards, you can't turn around, or X to just reverse like a lorry into the lift, and then the lift activates. That takes you up one floor. You can walk out onto a plank, which is quite high, halfway up the building, I suppose. And then once you're done or you've fallen off, you can go back into the lift, go up higher, and that will allow you to then activate sort of a jetpack thing. And then you can just fly around the city, and there are like fires to put out, and you can put them out, and once you've put them all out, the game ends. It is unbelievably arcadey. Like, if you imagined that just a plank experience wasn't enough, this won't sway you. Like, it is a very small add-on, but it is the only game I know of that lets you fly but has no options. So you have to fly with like a blackened, the edge of your screen sinks in, if you know what I mean. Like, you're going like a fighter pilot with the G-force, you sort of black out a little bit. I hate that you can't turn that off, but other than that, it's a fun thing.
But so I just looked it up here because I was like, how much is it? It's $15.
Is it? Oh, God, I think it was on sale here. I swear I got it for like £9, which is about $5. Is that about $4 or $5? I think of tenner over here.
Dude, that is that's expensive. For how long do you think you played it?
Oh, 10 minutes. I mean, again, it's somebody else. It's a party thing. I got it because I thought at some point I'll do a video on it. It would be fun to just fly around for an episode or two and maybe see if there are any Easter eggs. I could get more out of it, I think, than the average person. Unless you've never played VR before, then I recommend it because it's a great way to just jump in and go, oh, I have no idea what VR is all about. I've never played Skyrim. I'm not interested in Borderlands. Oh, it's all far too much, but I've paid £400 for this headset. Get Rich's blank experience.
That's bonkers. Oh, dude, that's nuts. Okay, but I'm glad I learned a little more about that because I never really knew about it.
No, lots of strange things come over from Steam.
Yeah, I guess so. Dude, that's so expensive, though. I don't know if I like that. But, okay, something to give me – maybe if it goes on sale, I'll think about it. How about that?
Then, yeah, it's definitely – I got it on sale. Get it on sale. It's not worth the full price, but it is worth a go. Okay,
nice. So, how about this week? I thought it was, I don't know, somewhat strange timing in that Firewall Zero Hour has a free trial for PlayStation Plus members, and it's, limited time, but I kind of thought it was odd that it's now. Like, I know there's more headsets and stuff, but does that strike you odd? Like, why do you think they did it now?
I'm not sure why they've done it now. It might just be because I mean, I don't want to talk on Firewall's behalf, but I would have thought that maybe the next few months are a little bit blank for VR, and maybe Sony are just thinking, who's a close-ish company that we could email? And they've gone, do you mind if we do a free weekend? We saw this a few months ago with Moss, was it? They did like the Moss free demo and you could just play that, and then they took it off the store again. So I think it's just to get people into the game. But it's because you hear about these complaints that the servers are a little bit empty. They want to try and get those servers full. Sony want the servers full because it makes the platform look better. They want it full so that their game can improve. But if you like it, you've already got it, haven't you? Like it's Counter-Strike. If you like Counter-Strike, you've already got it, surely. I haven't, but I don't have an aim controller. I know I've personally wanted to get that before I tried. And by that point, I really hope that something better's come along, maybe with more than one map and a couple of extra game modes, because it is the most stripped back FPS shooter I've ever seen. Like, bring me just Counter-Strike. Why isn't Counter-Strike on PlayStation? I really don't know. It's only Steam and Valve. It's not copyright or against Sony.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But you really do need to get the aim controller. That needs to be like top of the list.
I've had to go, but I haven't got one.
Yeah, well, we need to make that happen because it enhances every game that it uses by, like, if you're considering, like, okay, let me, review it and give it a score, it literally probably bumps any game it uses up by 2 scores. It's that good. It's incredible.
Ooh, that's very good.
Yeah.
I should really get around to it, but it's so expensive. Who has that kind of money? They've just brought out that bloody paddle thing, and I wanted to go and I wanted to get a flight to Sony headquarters and smash somebody's head against a glass window and go, look at what you've done. Look at this beautiful technology, and you've given us this flat paddle that came out in the 1990s at school with a sensor in the bottom. Like,
yeah. Well, the thing is, when there's suckers like me around and we're willing to pay that money for the aim controller, that's why it's so expensive.
That's what worries me, is it degrades proper pieces of equipment like the aim controller by bringing out other peripherals which are such low quality. Again, some people are singing and dancing about these new treadmills and walk pads and everything, but I really struggle with them because where I play things with full immersion, it's like, what if I get on a horse? What if I sit down? What if I decide to drive a car? What about if a game comes out in a few months' time where you're not only standing in one position for the whole thing? Then what do we do? It's like, this game, it's a bit like a hot ass or a steering wheel. It only really applies to a very small slice of the gaming community, and a paddle or a treadmill only applies to walking sims. You couldn't really use it if you wanted, even something like COD, if that came over to VR in 2020 and you go, oh, we're going to get into our treadmill, the moment you go to sit down, you go, I can't, because I'm attached by my waist or my feet are supporting my entire body on this little platform. It's not going to know. So I get a bit iffy about all of that, all these add-ons. So I've been trying to avoid getting anything other than the Move controllers. So I like the idea of a name, but these other weird accessories, I think, are not so good for the industry as a whole.
Well, you have my personal seal of approval for the aim controller. All of the other ones I can't talk about, but the dang aim controller, it's a good one. Okay, so we have about 4 more minutes because the recording software we're using kind of glitched, but thankfully it tells you how much time we have remaining. So we'll go into the next segment, but I'm going to ask you one more question. We've got 4 minutes. We'll end this segment, bring you back on the next one to finish our interview here. But this, I thought, was a very interesting piece of information that I saw on Reddit. According to sources, fast travel games sold more on the PSVR than Steam, Viveport, or Oculus combined, which blows my mind. Why would that be the case?
That is amazing. Yeah, I can't believe that. It's so surprising because, again, I think we were talking about this slightly off camera, but it's just the amount of saturation on the market on Steam and things. I can understand why it didn't do so well on Steam because there are so many other options. On PSVR, I'm almost just disappointed because it just shows that there isn't enough variation for something like this to come through. It is a damn surprise. I'm hoping that, again, it's just a matter of time. When we all sit down at night and pray to our little shrines with a little Shuhei Yoshida on the top, and we all wish for the next wonderful PSVR game to be announced tomorrow when we wake up. But something better will come. It will come. We all just need to wait. The better games are on their way. No Man's Sky will come out one day, and then that'll be the end of it. No one will need to go outside. I hate that game with a passion, but in VR, I could live there. No problems.
Yeah, like I definitely think the fact that the others have, and I think not only is it that Steam and the others have more games, but they probably have a lot of games that are similar to Apex Construct. Where here on PSVR, I'm trying to think. I mean, now we have Code 51 that's kind of like robotish and has some.
Yeah, you could kind of argue that In Death is kind of similar, though that came out afterwards because you're using a bow and arrow for all of that. But again,
and they just did that like Signia Cup thing where it was like a competition worldwide, or whoever could get the highest score. I mean, I
just think there are too many games that involve a bow and arrow or puzzles. I've just got another place. As a rule, I think that a bow and arrow, if somebody's listening from PlayStation, if another game is put to you and it says main weapon / interactive mode with the world, and it doesn't say using your hands, it says a bow and arrow, then there's something wrong. Like, if you've got 2 move controllers, you can use your hands as well. I've never understood that in some of these things. They come up with a good excuse in the story as to why you don't have hands. But it's like, it's the one thing that we actually do have controllers for. And they always go, it must be a weapon. It has to be a gun. It's like, just give us a bit more tactileness in the world, and I think games will be improved a lot.
Yeah. All right. So I think what we'll do here is because of our whatever the heck's going on with, our recording stuff here, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back, and then we'll get back into it. Dukane, thank you very much. We'll talk to you here in the next segment. All right, welcome back to, this will be the first podcast where we actually have 4 segments. So weird, but if I were to have 4 segments, I would want it to be with you, Dukane. You still with me?
I'm still here. I love you too, from thousands of miles away.
That's right, man.
All.
Love it. But in virtual reality, we're so close. We're within touching distance.
Oh, so true, so true. There's some deep words there. Before we jump into any more, though, I want to actually throw a question at you, or you guys, because you can run it past Alex when you see him. But did you play any of Here They Lie?
I did. I played it probably a pretty good while ago. Not when it first came out, but probably a year and a half ago, maybe. So it's been a while.
No, it has been a while. I played it all the way through 2 or 3 times now. But your last podcast, I know, right? It's quite a lot to go through 3 times. But when you were doing your last episode, you said to Alex about what sort of things you thought were underrated or games that people had missed. And I was sat there screaming at my small tablet, going, "Here they lie. Here they lie. Someone talk about it." I was going, so now's my opportunity to say that anyone who wants a really fun horror game that isn't too stressful, but is more of like, I've just taken a literal bucket of LSD and I don't know what to do with myself for an hour, that's the game to go and throw yourself in. Because people underestimate how much work went into that. It's clever. It's one of the cleverest VR games. When everyone heard about VR and we saw all these videos before PlayStation VR came out of like people walking around corners and then they turn around and it's like a different corridor, and then they turn around again and it's like, oh, VR can do that because it knows where you're looking. And there was all these weird fads of games and crazy technologies that we'll get, which we've never seen the sight of yet. But Here They Lie did all those tricks and more in that game. It is an absolute gem. Masterpiece of horror and atmosphere, and it's I think it's also by a load of art students. I'm not sure. I did speak to the developers about how it came together, but it's all different mini storylines nearly that have sort of been interwoven. So it's very nice. It's like an art thing. You can even do it in chapters. It's the only game I know of where they've split it into chapters and it actually feels like they're a good length. You get to it and it goes, "Have you considered taking the VR headset off?" And I go, No, I haven't actually. You've got a point, game. It has been an hour. They're not like every 10 minutes. They're like reasonably like have you thought about maybe just going out for a bit? I appreciate that from my horror games. Resident Evil does that every now and then, but it's like in really stupid places.
Yeah. So with Here They Lie, I remember that it has a great ending, a fantastic ending that I really liked. But my big issue with Here They Lie, and it's nothing with the game, it's actually somewhat my fault. I would have known. But I played it right after I played Resident Evil, which wasn't a good move.
Yeah, that's a weird one. How was that going? Because I did it the other way around. I'm a good British boy, and I know what I'm doing. If you were to do it the other way around and play Resident Evil first, what is that experience like going from down? Because it's quite a graphics jump.
Yeah, well, so my thing is I would have rather done it like you did. Because after you go from Resident Evil, nothing seems scary anymore. So
that's very true.
Yeah, so I did not think that Here They Lie was that scary. And it's because I'm certain because I played Resident Evil 7 first, and it was so terrifying. And that really ruined – I mean, I still enjoyed the experience and Here They Lie. But in a way, it ruined it because I was not scared at all. Like, you heard the little creatures, and there's that suspense. And I was like, dude – I've had like these zombie things chasing me for like the past 12 hours. Like, this isn't anything. I don't even have to defend myself. I just have to sneak by you. And so I wish I had done it the way you had done, but you know.
No, I agree. I would have rather. I'm glad I did it the way that I did it. But Resident Evil is basically like the thriller movie of horror VR, whereas Here They Lie is like the little art house film that you might see on the horror channel, and you just go, wow, it's not terrifying, but it's very clever. You go, there's like things dripping out the walls, and there's like a dog creature that wants to be your best friend and would really like to have sex with you, but you're like, maybe not, I've just got to carry on with the plot, which is probably my favourite part of that game. On my series I did, where it was my second playthrough, I thought I'd record it, because Here They Lie is probably one of those games I got before I'd even started with the channel. I played that and went, I need to record this. And when I went back to do it again, I played it with the retrospect of knowing what was going to happen. And that was so much fun to do with the fans on the channel, to sort of go, the next bit's really interesting. It references this wall. This wall turns up again. It's a reference to how the character is feeling. If you can play it more than once, it's like reading a book. It's such a wonderfully vivid experience. You can really explore. Because there are those optional parts as well, which is where you like walk up to the balcony, and there's like those I'll call them fairies, because they basically are the people dressed as animals, and they're like, oh, do you want it? They're like pointing, and if you walk over, you'll start like an interactive sequence where they'll give you a brick, and you get the option of whether to like throw the brick over the side or like smash someone's head in with it. But none of those decisions make you a good or a bad person. They're all making like a point about something that's happening in the game. They're all very arty. One's about like abuse. Another section is about like how you interact with the soul and what you really think of your own actions compared to other people's. It's a fantastic book of VR. I really do. It's one of those experiences that I think everybody with a headset should at least have played, whether they liked it or not, because it's a bit like saying you've never seen the Mona Lisa. So it doesn't matter if you like art, you should know what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Not long ago, it was free. So
was it? I
yeah.
Well, I paid for it, so it doesn't matter. But good, everyone who missed that opportunity is kicking themselves.
Yeah, I paid for it too, so you know we're all suckers. But yeah. You know, it was good. Yeah, for sure. Another game that I guess potentially could be underrated, and I haven't purchased it just because I don't feel the content for the price is there for PSVR, is Ace Combat 7. Ooh. So have you played it? Are you going to buy it at some point? What's your thought there?
I want to play it. I really want to buy it, but they want a lot of money. However, I'll add on to that. I'm literally just about to start writing another article. I didn't mention that, actually. I do write articles. I'll put a link somewhere. I'll send you a link so you can put it in the description if anyone's really interested. I do write the odd thing. But I was talking to our people on the other end of that about how Ace Combat is coming to Steam, and the VR section is coming to Steam in like late November this year, which seems really odd to me because you'd start on a computer. So normally the computer is either first or just after the VR on the PlayStation because of exclusivity reasons. Nothing to do with technology, as it were. It's just for the sake of business. This one's quite a long delay. I think they might be adding more content. They might go, oh, we're going to bring it to PC. It's going to have the VR content as well. Everyone on Steam VR is going to want a bit more for their buck. We might add DLC. Maybe I don't want to pay for it though. Would I pay for it? If I bought the game and they said, here's some DLC, it's another 3 VR missions for £15, would I pay it again? And I think I would. And then on Steam, they'd get that included. I know that sounds really awful, but I could see that as a business strategy, how that would pan out for them if they were going to add stuff to it. I hope they do, because I want to buy it for the more VR content. It looks really good. There's like flying through clouds, and all the things that you would do in a plane in VR. So I'm there really, but it's a matter of when rather than if.
Yeah, and so I'm considering renting it once it gets to an appropriate stage because what I've read are fantastic. To everyone who's done the PR experience, they've loved it. They've just been, why is it so short? There's here in the States, I don't know the pound and dollars equivalent, but it was about 45 minutes of VR action, and the game's $60, which is, I mean,
that's about right. I think I looked it up yesterday, and it was about 45. I think it was $49.99 here, so that's about 20 quid difference, which sounds about right. But yeah, it is horrifically overpriced. But
I mean, and that's for PSVR. I mean, there's obviously the rest
of the game, though, which is why I fall down a little bit, because I'm in that very small demographic of people that went, oh, I actually quite like Ace Combat. So there's like 1% of us in the world, and went, oh, I could just play the non-VR missions a bit. And that's really different. I haven't played a flat game in 2 years. But if I bought Ace Combat, I'd play the VR stuff. I'd probably play the rest of it as well. So I'd probably get my money's worth. But it's not why I'm buying it. I'm buying it for the VR. And that would be a disappointment, yeah.
Yeah, I wish, again, as business, I wish they would come out and separate them. You could buy only the PSVR portion, or you could also purchase the whole thing.
I don't know why they haven't.
I mean, I don't know if the missions are I don't know if it's completely that separate. I don't know if it's like you have to finish 2D missions and then you get a PSVR one, but they're still linked. And so
no, it is completely, as far as I'm aware, it is a totally separate storyline. I think,
dude, then they could totally do that.
Yeah, they could do that. I don't know why they haven't, but again, do you want to half your market? Like that's a CEO in an office going, do we want people who don't? They can either buy the whole thing for 50 quid or $70, or they go, or they can buy just a bit of it for a tenner. Well, fuck that, they go. So they could pay $70 if they want that little bit of the game. And that's the problem, I think, with a lot of VR is everyone keeps waiting for like this killer app. And I thought there have been so many killer apps now that it's actually pointless waiting for one. It will be the next VR headsets when everybody realizes what they're missing on. People won't buy VR until the next generation of headsets are out, simply because if they're not buying, it's the same as Firewall. It's like if they wanted one, they've already got one. And until something comes around where it's like, well, the next wave of something better to bring in the next class of VR citizen, there's just no point. We are all here paving the way for them. It's not going anywhere. VR's in full stride, but business-wise, too many of these decisions are focused on the side of the platform which is flat, and we'll just have to wait. It's going to be probably the end of this year before we get anything like Dreams has the potential to push that boundary, but we're discussing that later. I'll leave it. Your turn.
There you go. All right, so I want to know. I love to hate 18 Floors because it's a miserable trash heap, but. Yes. What is the worst PSVR game that you've played?
Worst? Oh God. Worst PSVR game. God. Oh,
so the fact that you're taking time tells me that you haven't played Ranch Planet, Rabbit Hole, or probably 18 Floors.
I've played 18 Floors, and
What?
that was awful. That was awful. But is it the worst? Is
Dude.
that go-kart game not nearly the worst? Because
See, I haven't played that one. I haven't played that one.
That's like I get annoyed with that because I'm like, it's online go-kart multiplayer. How have they ruined this? But
yeah, it sounds like it. What's wrong with it?
It just controls like dog shit. It's just awful. It is. You know Rec Room?
Yeah.
You know, like they want to add go-karting into Rec Room, and you see people who have sort of built a car and they've clipped themselves to it. So what you're doing is moving forwards and then tessellating your character rather than really driving a car. That's what it is in this. It just doesn't feel very fluid. It doesn't feel, you feel like you're hovering. They should have just made it like, if they'd have gone, oh, you're all on water skis, done. It would have felt perfect. But they were so determined to make it a go-karting game, it just doesn't quite work. You can clip through the odd wall, and the tracks are not the best layout. Some of the corners are like, it's just 90-degree corners or nothing. There's no such thing there's no such thing as a swooping S-bend sort of thing. No, there's no ups or downs or really that much gradient difference, and that's the problem. They should have tried. I think they should have given it another 6 months and then done something more with it. But I'd say that is, for me, something that just winds me up. It's not necessarily terrible. It's just poorly executed.
Like Special Delivery.
Yes.
Like Special Delivery was a great idea. Concept. And then
terribly executed.
Dude, these people, man, how can you ruin Mario Kart on the PSVR? And how can you ruin Special Delivery? You
can literally, it's annoying because it used to be only the larger companies that had these sorts of problems because you'd have a CEO filtering down his decisions. Because of the app marketplace, Steam, such low-level development. I don't want to say low-level as in degrading anybody. It's a hard job to get into. I value all of you. Well done, everyone, making a game. You're fantastic. But if you want to put your game onto the Steam marketplace and there's a team of 6 and you make a game on the RPG Maker and it makes a fair amount of cash, your next game's going to have microtransactions. Your next game's going to be, you're going to start doing these things that you see the big AAA companies doing. And I think that's so detrimental as well. Like, none of us are getting these proper experiences because even the smaller games are just so quickly thrown together because they've realized they can. It's quite a rare thing to get a good indie game, and that wasn't always the way. It's disappointing, but it grinds my gears. I'm with you there. Like things like this go-kart and 18 Floors, they're just thrown together, and then you wonder, like, who made this decision? I could understand if it was Bethesda and there was some idiot at the top who doesn't care and has never seen the game in production allowed this. But there's only 5 of you in the team, and you said this is like your life's work for the past 2 years. How has it turned out this way? And then you weep a single tear and don't buy it. Yeah,
good time. I don't know, man. Okay, well, from the best to what you're most looking forward to. So in 2019, we've got... Last week, we talked about some of the games that we were looking forward to, but what are some that you are most looking forward to that are coming out this year?
Dreams. I really want to play Dreams. I love Little Big Planet. I really want to play Dreams.
Did you get to do the beta?
No, I didn't. I didn't enter it. I purposefully avoided it because I'm pretty sure that won't be VR anyway. I'm one of those... I love... because I edit and I used to make music, I've used most kinds of software that most people haven't dabbled in. And what this new Dreams, it's Little Big Planet. For the people who don't know quickly, it's Little Big Planet 2 in VR, basically. Just take that 3 planes of movement and make it into a 3D world. It's the same thing. But they've added in, like, making your own music, full software for, like, generating a map. And creating a character. They've added like full sculpting so that you could sculpt your own character out of clay and animate them themselves and tell the game where you want those joints to be. I am damn curious to see what comes out of that because we all played did you play Little Big Planet?
I did not.
Basically, right. You're aware what the Japanese are like. They're all insanely good at every game you've ever played. Little Big Planet had that rare gem in it where you would turn it on, you'd jump to a random level someone had made, and it would be written in Japanese. And you go, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And you'd go, wait, this is like a black and white movie. Someone's made a film in Little Big Planet. My controller isn't necessary. You put it down and you just watch a 10-minute film someone's made in Little Big Planet. And it was that ingenuity, that open sourceness to how everything worked that made it so inventive. And now this new one is in VR. We're going to get 3D films. We're going to get people being... Because who is it that PSVR Frank, who does the videos for PSVR, he's just been picked up by Firewall, and he's now part of their development team. The people from Dreams who are sat here right now sort of twiddling their thumbs going, I wish I had a game development suite. When Dream comes out, there are people who will be snapped up. They'll be off making games for Sony. They'll come up with a really neat little clever plan, and it will just be the best thing anyone's ever come up with for VR. And I really can't wait for that. Also, so I can get my own 15 minutes of fame, I guess, and throw something together. But it's just fun to do because it is just hopping through everyone's ideas and seeing what they've come up with. There's got to be something good in there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm excited for that too. I'm hoping. Yeah, I everything I can tell, it's going to be incredible. So Alex actually got the beta. He just rubbed it in my face in the first segment, and so I don't know. Hopefully he can't tell us because there's a non-disclosure agreement. But hopefully,
oh, is there? Of course there is. Yeah. I mean, we've all been there. I'm under embargo for a few things myself. But yeah, it's very true. I always forget. What, for a beta? Is that legal? Can you ask people to enter a beta for a game and then go, but you're not allowed to tell anyone? So
I guess because they made them sign something. So
fine.
Yeah,
I guess it's fine. It just seems like a surprise because they did that. I heard about that with Persona 5, didn't they? You couldn't record it. I don't think you still can't if you put that in a PlayStation. You hit record, nothing happens.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Because that came out with a disclosure agreement and everyone kicked off, and the European Union had a law change saying you can't do this. You can't release a public product and then say, but you can't tell anyone about it because it's public by that point. And so maybe because it's in a beta, they've gotten away with it, but it's just a surprise. You'd think anyone could hit record and just put that on the internet with their phone. It's in the public knowledge now. So anyway, you carry on.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, so I got a couple more questions for you. First one is surely there's got to be a game out there that you haven't played for the PSVR, but you really want to. So which game is that? Which one have you just missed out on?
Borderlands. I've missed out on Borderlands. I haven't touched it. I've never played it before either. I've seen it in passing in my youth when I was, 10 years younger. I remember seeing people playing it and I thought, oh, this looks fun. And I had a brief go on an Xbox and was just like, look at all these numbers on screen. I'm done. It was just, it's like looking into the Matrix, some of it. It just didn't appeal to me. Again, I saw it in VR and thought, that looks amazing. Like, I could really go for this. It reminded me a bit of Dark Souls, which some people think is like a bonkers thing to say. I can see it myself. It's the idea that you have to dodge and if you get hurt, you die. And I like that edge, the fact that it's actually going to be difficult. It came from a game already, and I haven't been able to get my teeth into it. The driving looks fun as well. Have you played that yet, or?
No, I watched Alex stream it this Wednesday, but I have yet to actually play it. Mainly, I haven't played it personally at all either, whether in the past or this.
Yeah.
It looked pretty fun. It looked very fast-paced. It looked like, though, it got to a point where it was so similar in gameplay that maybe after a couple hours, although the environments change and the characters change and you get different guns, that it could get a little old maybe.
It's Destiny offline is what it is. Like, it's before this. I mean, Borderlands came out before really lots of those things sort of existed. But it's just... it's very visceral. I like the idea. There are problems with it, though, but I think, again, it would work better in VR. Alex obviously enjoys it, but I don't know if the car... Have you seen people driving in it yet?
I saw Alex driving in it.
Right.
It looked pretty difficult. Yeah.
Yes, it looked difficult and it looked bad, but it looks like it's got the Gran Turismo problem, which is where you stay flat as if the car isn't there and the car rotates around you. So if the car was to do a flip, you stay sat still and the car spins around you and then lands on its wheels. I find that very, very strange. And they did the same thing in Gran Turismo and in this. They both do it. Gran Turismo really fucked me off. I put that game down because of that. I was furious that I bought Gran Turismo. And then I drove in a rally car at a fence. The car flipped onto its roof and I'm up the same way and I'm just sat on the ceiling of the car and I went, well, this is a swizz. Like, they didn't even bother to attach me to the bloody vehicle. I can just take this game back. And I took it back that day.
Wow.
I was so angry about that. It was unbelievable. I was furious. It was the angriest I've been in a long time because I was really looking forwards to getting a good driving game. Could just get into it, drive for a bit. It wasn't all in VR, but a portion of it was. I was going to have enough to get my teeth into, and then it just went, oh, by the way, you're not actually in the car. You're just kind of levitating. I went, well, that's just a mistake. Just fuck around. Give me my money back.
Oh, dude. Well, that's unfortunate. I know some people who love it though, but I guess to each their own.
Yeah. It's got good controls and everything. I just was irritated by that one thing, the fact that you're not that you're stationary in the vehicle.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, Dukane, I think our time is about up here, but before you go, I would like you to tell us maybe a little bit more about your channel or what we should be looking forward to in 2019, what the fans and listeners can look for in terms of YouTube and videos you want to do, anything new. How about you just give an overview of what you have coming up in this year?
Oh, can't wait. Well, for one, I can't speak on behalf of all of YouTube, but I can speak on behalf of us. We're doing some Minecraft stuff soon, which is in non-VR, because we like to meet up and try and do the odd non-VR game just to break things up, try and get some more people over to the channel that maybe aren't entirely into VR. We are starting doing some 3D printing soon, so if people want any accessories for their PSVR, we might be able to help them out with some customization. So if you're curious about maybe custom accessories, strange bits of equipment, we'll obviously be doing the reviews of every game coming out. I think I'm okay to say that we'll be doing the Wizards. If I get in trouble for that, then your listeners are very lucky. But we'll be reviewing the Wizards when that comes out. We're on their to-do list.
Nice.
I think a few other games I'm not allowed to mention, so I won't, because that would be bad. So it makes it a bit tricky to give you a show of what's happening. But we're very interactive. We've got the Twitter, which is at the VR Sofa. We've got the YouTube channel, which is at the VR Sofa. We take any recommendations people want, and we always try to play games from beginning to end. So if you're curious how something plays in its entirety, without spoilers, like our Resident Evil 7, for instance, when we were playing it, we do it in chunks so that people playing know when they can stop. We go to a boss and we'll go, right, there's a boss through this door. We will stop here. The next episode will be a boss episode. So if you've only got here, stop watching, sort of thing. I don't try to spoil it. I don't want to take away the experience of VR. So if anyone wants somewhere to just hang out and wants to come meet us, we do lots of stuff in Rec Room as well, where we literally just hang out and do podcasts and such like that. We're a very happy-go-lucky channel. So if you want to get hold of any of us, do try, and we'll do everything we can to alleviate your VR woes.
All right, dude. I love it. Love it. And man, I really appreciate you joining me again today.
Not a problem.
Dude, it was great. I'm really glad it spiced it up. I was so not looking forward to talking to myself for 2 segments, but now I got 2 segments of you. I got one more quick one coming up, but for the listeners, just stick with us. We're going to go through a break, come back, talk about maybe some sales. I still got airing a grievance, and it's still 18 floors, and so you can hear me rail on that, and maybe a couple other few little things coming up in the next segment too. But Dukane, thanks again, buddy. Check out all their content, YouTube, Twitter, follow them. Dude, the 3D printing is awesome. We made it up. All right. See you in the next segment, guys.
In the next segment.
Welcome back to segment 4 of PlayPSVR The Podcast. It's so weird saying segment 4. It doesn't feel right, but we had to do it, guys. Special thanks to Dukane. What a guy. I wish I had known that he was joining me in the first segment, because I would have definitely given him a shout out and given you even more incentive to continue listening. However, I'm glad he joined us. Had a great time talking to that dude. What a beast. I'm hoping to go join the VR Sofa here soon, talk to them, and see some of their creations in the Rec Room. And just, I'm not going to watch all 60 Skyrim videos that he has on there. I'm going to be honest, but I should watch some. I find that interesting. He'll give me some good ideas, and apparently I'm screwed because I hit Delphine in the crotch with a sword. I didn't mean to, Delphine. I'm sorry. You shouldn't break the game. You shouldn't ruin it for me. What a butthole. Regardless, so we're back with our typical third segment, although it's not really going to be a typical one because let me tell you, first of all, the drop did not drop yesterday on Friday, and so I don't know what games are coming out this week. Also, the games that they said would be coming out last week didn't come out, so I don't know what the heck is going on. And, of course, Ace Combat came out, and we did say that one was going to come out. But so I honestly don't know what's going to be coming out, so I'm not even going to give it a shot. So I'm just going to say, I hope some good games come out on Tuesday. I hope we hear about them. I hope they're good, and hopefully we'll get to play them and let you guys know what is up. Speaking of that, there is a game on the North American market now that we have access to, definitely physically now, in which I know that Europe, they've had it for a while, but for some reason, North America getting screwed again. Smash Hit Plunder is a game that I just received physically, and it's cool, and I just got to play it yesterday, so I didn't get to play it before our first segment, so I didn't talk about it in there. But essentially, it's a game where it's very kind of pixelated. It looks like a Minecraft type of graphics. And even at that, like you play Discovery or you play, Just in Time Incorporated, and it's the same type of graphics, but for those, they're very clear. And here, they're just not. The graphics, even though they're blocks, they're not clear. They're not sharp, which is very disappointing. Essentially, you are locked in your grandmother's mansion, and it is your goal to raise enough money to get out of the mansion because someone, I don't know whether he's a demon or what he is, this antagonist, I suppose, comes and he has put a magical spell on the mansion in which you can't leave until you pay some absurd amount of money. So what you do is you go in different rooms of a mansion and you just destroy stuff. You break baskets and pots and treasure chests and burlap sacks, and you move books and you throw tables. You just destroy everything in sight. And when you do, there's money in these random things. You collect it. You gain crowns, and then the more crowns you get, more rooms are unlocked, and essentially you raise money to get out of the mansion. However, it sounds like it would be pretty fun. It's just really dull and kind of boring. You don't get that satisfying feeling of smashing something. The DualShock controllers are not good. The Move controllers, believe it or not, are the better way to play the game, but it still is quite a disappointing experience for me. I've only played about an hour. I'm going to jump back in today and hopefully play a little more. There's a single-player campaign. There's a two-player co-op. There's also a local multiplayer, so you could play with someone else who's physically there with you, and I haven't got to do that yet either. But interesting concept. I think it's a better concept than the execution, but my issue is this right here, and I'm not going to say who quoted this, who said this quote, but on the front of the package, it says ... and this is in quotation mark because they took it out of a review, stands a very good chance of being one of the very best PlayStation VR games. So again, I'm not going to say who quoted that because, first of all, I don't know. Maybe the people who made the package here, maybe they took it out of context. Maybe it said if the controls were better, graphics were more sharp, and gameplay executed better, this game stands a very good chance. Like, you never know what the actual full quote said, but if they actually said that this game really could stand to be the very best PSVR game, they are a fool. I could tell you within 5 minutes this wasn't anywhere close to being one of the best PSVR games. It's not one of the best concepts. It's not one of the best games. I mean, no, I don't want to completely crap on this game, but I just don't understand when I see quotes like this. I don't understand what people see because this is such a limited game. It's repetitive. Like I said, it's a good concept. But one of the very best, you're telling me that you think that this is up there with Resident Evil 7. This is up there with Moss and Astrobot and Wipeout and Persistence and To the Top. There's no way. I do not care if they took it out of context. There's just no way that sentence should be written for this game. And this goes for other games too, where same things can be said. So that I just don't understand, guys. I don't get it. Well, I mean, what do they think? This is Pop-Up Pilgrim level? Nah, I'm joking. Pop-Up Pilgrim should be like a 4, but I'm an idiot and rated it an 8, and I'll never live it down. But regardless, that's Smash Hit Plunder. I'm going to let Alex also play it. We'll probably discuss it a little bit next week too. Those are essentially my first impressions of it, and I'm just reiterating myself at this point. It's a good concept, not great execution. Graphics aren't fantastic. I need to play more before I give it an official review, because it does have different game modes, and I do like some of the stuff they've done with it, but I just don't know. So now I also want to go through the airing of Grievance, and I probably won't be as not charismatic, but as theatrical. Alex isn't here to egg me on, and honestly, I'm just sick of talking about this game, but it's the only thing that I have to complain about, and it's 18 floors again. Holy crap, guys, this game is so bad. It is horrible. So I finally got done with the 3rd floor of my life. Took me forever. Did a walkthrough on YouTube. Go check it out, because you're probably going to get stumped because the level sucks and there's a couple things that aren't intuitive whatsoever. But I got to the 4th floor and I was like, okay, I'm almost there. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Tried it once by myself. Didn't get very far and I had to leave. So I was like, okay, I didn't give a fair shake to it, whatever. So then a second try went in there, and I streamed this on YouTube, and I got decently far. Thankfully, to Richard, I don't remember your last name, but there was a guy on there on my stream who he had been through a portion of the 4th floor, I think a rather big portion, probably over halfway, and he was helping me, so it didn't take so long. He didn't straight up tell me the answers. He let me fart around for 15 minutes, and it was like, maybe you should find a piece that goes into that record player. Maybe look in that corner of the room or something. He didn't straight up tell me the answers. And so then I hit this one puzzle in which, God forbid, I think it's broken. I really do. I think it's broken. Richard was able to get it once. He said it took him hours to do. And then he also knew the answer to the puzzle and told me what I was doing was correct, and yet I couldn't solve the puzzle. Essentially, there is this weird clock thing that it's 2 circles that are within each other to create kind of like a sphere, but it's only 2 rings. So it's essentially 2 rings that are together to make a ball, and each one of those has a second. It could be a minute, an hour, or a second hand. And you have to put that at the correct time. And when that is achieved, there's a little kind of drawer that pops out. And I don't know what it gives you because I can't solve it. Anyhow, I had Richard telling me what I'm doing is correct and is what he had done when he got it to work. He just said it was very fidgety. But until you see what position you're in, how complicated it is, I spent probably at least an hour and a half between my 2nd and 3rd streams trying to figure that out. And I mean, Richard said he solved it. He did get it to work. It took him hours, but he did get it, and he knows that's the answer. So I know what I'm doing is correct, and I can't get it. And so after spending an hour and a half on it, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this effing bull crap. Screw you and your effing game. Go eat a dick. And so I sent the developers an email and was like, hey, I can't figure this out. I hate being that guy asking for answers, but I've been spending hours on this. Someone told me that they think they know what the solution is and that I'm doing it right, but it still doesn't work. Could you just give me some friendly advice or some suggestions? Haven't heard back. Isn't that the biggest kick in the balls? They created this freaking game, something that's so broken that you can't figure it out, you can't solve it, and then they won't even answer your stupid emails and ask for help. What a piece of crap. They're probably so ashamed that they put it out, they probably deleted their emails and the whole studio altogether. I mean, I have yet to find a single person to finish that floor because I don't think that – I don't know what it is. I'm just at disbelief. I thought that maybe I was wrong, but this is the only clue that matches up for that time. And I have someone who said that they had beaten it and that they had used the same exact puzzle or the same time that I was using. And so unless that guy is just lying to me, which he has no reason to do that, and he helped me before and all the advice he gave me before was correct. So I don't understand. It's just the most infuriating game that I've ever played. At this point, I'm not going to boot up the game unless they give me an email. Maybe if someone does a walkthrough video, maybe I'll do it just so I can see the rest of the bullcrap so I can talk about it again on my airing of grievances. But I'm not going to waste my good and valuable time on a piece of crap game like that. So I advise you to do the same. F18 floors, F the developers, F the studio. I should probably delete that from my PS4. Screw Tetris Effect. I should be deleting 18 floors because although it's a very small amount of my memory, it's still way more memory than it's worth. So that's what it is. I've already talked about how the drop sucks, that they don't put their stuff out. And so you know what? I hate to end the podcast on a sour note, but I talked a whole lot with Dukane. We had a somewhat longer segment with Alex. So I think I am going to be out for this week. Although I do want to bring a couple things to your attention is that there are a couple demos out right now in the PlayStation Store. One is for Eden Tomorrow. I have not played it. I'm going to download it today and play it. I've heard good things. I think the game's going to be a good one, but I don't know what the demo is like. Again, it's free. It's a demo. You might as well try it out. Let's go. Maybe it's going to be one of my most anticipated games this year after playing the demo. I got to check it out. And then there's something called Laughter in the Dark Tour. And I don't know what the heck that is. I'm guessing it's kind of like music set to an experience in a cool environment. I don't know. Might as well check that out. Again, it's free. So if you're looking for some good content, a little something to shake up your week, those two things, shorter, they're free, and it could give you something to look forward to in the future. So thank you so much for listening to Play PSVR the podcast. Again, we love it when you guys contact us. Literally, we got Twitter, Reddit, YouTube. We got our website. We want to hear from you guys. It's been maybe a couple weeks since we've gotten any fan feedback or someone said anything. So we miss you guys. We want you to talk to us. So just drop us a line whether you have a question, whether you have a request, if you want to join the podcast, if you want us to talk about something in particular. We are here for you guys. If people don't read it, if they don't listen, there's no reason for us to do it because it takes our time and stuff. So if there's something you want, just let us know. And have a fantastic week. Here's to another fantastic week of PSVR. Let's hope we get some quality games up in this hizzy. And thanks for listening to Play PSVR, where virtual reality is our reality.